Matt. I'm looking for Jay if he's anywhere around.
He is not in today, but I can help you. I'm Jason Hyland. I'm the owner of Sub 70.
Wow, wonderful to meet you. I've been waiting to meet you. Like, everything about this company is incredible. I actually came in looking for Jay. I came in to pick up some merch because I'm doing another episode of Golf with Irene.
Unfortunately, he is not in today, but I'm pretty sure I can help you. So.
Yes. I will be interviewing that musician that came in when I was filming Dr. Ruby's episode.
Miles Nielsen.
Yes, that's his name.
Great guy, great on stage, fun to play golf with. He'd actually be perfect for golf.
Awesome. No, I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'll be using the new clubs that you guys sent me with the custom Golf with Irene engraved in them. They are gorgeous.
What we do at Sub 70, right? Everything's customized for each individual person, but it means a lot. I'm glad that you like them.
I would love to interview you about like how you built the company and the process of all that, because those clubs are incredible.
Thank you. I'd be happy to do that.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna grab some merch, if that's okay.
Did you end up getting a hold of Miles?
I know your lies. Yeah, I know your lies. You're firing into the wind. So take your best shot again.
I did. Yes.
Don't chase me, I'll run away. I'm gonna run away all your life. Don't chase me, I'll run away. I'm gonna run away all your life.
Welcome to the third episode of Golf with Irene. I have with me here Miles Nielsen.
Hey.
Musician from the Rockford area. We're golfing at Montecito Country Club. Thank you so much for this opportunity and for being here. The weather turned out great.
It's the best day we've had. It's probably your luck, not mine. Well, that's the garden spot.
Well, it looks like we'll actually be playing golf today. So you're a musician?
For better, for worse, I would say. You know, the music industry is a tough one these days. It's like, well, you know, I mean, you're a musician, right?
Your crowd was incredible. Like your fan base, and the Rusted Herd is what they called themselves.
Yeah, that was created by our friend Mark. He lives up near Green Bay, and just one day it was like this private group shows up, you know, on one of the social media platforms. I think it was Facebook, and it's like, you're invited to be a member of the Rusted Herd. It's a private group, you know. I was like, what is this? He took it upon himself to create this fan group that all of a sudden it was like, wow, there's thousands of people in this group, you know, and they're really dedicated to what we do, which is...
That's incredible.
It's like the sweetest thing in the world.
Yeah, well, that's everything you want as a musician to create a legacy of some sort and change in people's lives. And so when you have a fan base, I feel like that automatically means you're doing that because it's a community for people, which is really cool.
It is. It's you know, when you set out to play music, I think, you know, as a kid or, you know, as a teen, I had no intention of like having a fan base. You know, I was just doing it because it was something I needed to do for myself.
When did you start playing music? When did you know that that's what you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
Kind of like,
how did that work?
14. At 14, I knew that was what I wanted my job to be. I was so naive to how that actually looked. That I was just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be easy. It's
gonna work out.
It's gonna be easy, man. It's just like get with your buds and you just get in a band and you just go.
Yeah.
You buy a van and you go.
So why wasn't it? What was hard?
You have to be good. So it took me years of playing my instrument to figure out that I wasn't good yet. Needed to practice a bunch. Needed to go out and play a bunch of shows to perfect because you never really, I don't know that you perfect it, but you got to play a bunch of shows to figure out how to do this whole thing. So you get naturally good at engaging an audience. And
that was also incredible at your show. Your audience engagement. Like, I learned so much from the way that you engage with your audience and the timing of your jokes.
The student gets sent home.
You know, I guess the thing about that is, like, you know, people are like, do you work on these like jokes? You work on these things? I have never done that. And I think the biggest key is what I learned having done it a bunch of times is like vulnerability is the key. Because then you're just open. You're just open. You're vulnerable to like letting the audience sort of guide you and steer you through this show. Because every show's different. Every audience is different. But the cool thing is, if you let yourself be vulnerable to the audience, then the audience can sort of dictate where you navigate through these things. What I'm going to try to do here is low cut, starting at that blossoming tree and fading back into the fairway. Like that.
Oh, wow. How much of it do you stick to your script or your set list? How much of it do you go off the beaten path?
I think sometimes the key is to not have a set list.
Oh, wow. How does your band react to that? Are they just all ready to go with every single song, or do they?
They don't prefer it. If you're Jeff's like whatever.
Who's Jeff?
Jeff's the drummer.
Okay.
So drummer Jeff, we call him the work dog. Work dog doesn't care. He's just like, whatever, man, whatever you're feeling.
You need a beat, I got you.
Whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, love it. Adam likes to be more prepared because Adam has a lot of instruments. Adam has
He's the clarinet and
Adam is our multi-instrumentalist and keyboard player, vocalist, percussionist. He plays clarinet, soprano saxophone, tenor saxophone, bari saxophone, percussion, keyboards, synths, and vocals.
Wow.
So I understand for him to want to have a little more direction as to where the set's going to go. Kelly, who...
That's your wife, right?
It's my wife. Wife. She likes to be prepared. She's newer to the band. So she's like, don't throw any curveballs. That's her constant. She's always saying. Coming off a tour where you're playing close to the same 60-minute set every night, I throw her like, we haven't played this song in 2 months. She just gives me that's when you know you're married.
We're going to hear about it after the show.
That's the look, you're like, oh, sorry.
So when did she start playing with you?
So we lost our guitar player, Dan, to cancer September 19th.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Sometimes I feel like when you lose a big part of your thing, you're trying to always compensate for that thing rather than just let it naturally become a new thing.
Yeah, rather than replacing.
There's no replacing.
That's a missing piece. Yeah. You're just trying to reform into whatever the energy is supposed to.
Yeah, it's like water, right? It takes the shape of the area that you're giving it.
All them hearts with all them tiny parts like clocks kept winding. You take the high road, and I'll take the long. Oh baby, when the simple time's gone.
859 at the range the other day, long and straight.
It's really good. Yeah, reviews have been good on that product. Guys on tour are using it. Customers really seem to be liking that new driver. So I'm not surprised you were hitting it longer and definitely a little bit straighter.
Isn't that Irene golfing with Miles this weekend?
I think so. It should be a really, really good episode. And not only, like I said, is he great on stage, he's a really, really good golfer.
Golf is so hard.
It is.
Like, again, here, I've played this hole a million times. I know, in order to not get stuck behind trees, you just need to keep it left. Mm-hmm. But where did I go? 150 on the dot to the pin.
Oh, okay.
So what is that for you?
I don't quite know yet. I know I have hit that before with a 7, but usually it would probably take me a 6.
So you grab a 6?
I grabbed a 7.
I love the thought process.
Do any of the other guys in the band
Jim does.
golf?
Jim's actually a pretty good golfer.
He's the keyboard player,
Yeah.
right? He was very kind.
Jim is a really just a sweetheart
Yeah.
human. So I have a 72-yard shot here to the stick. This is a tough distance for me. That was terrible, but the end result's not going to be bad.
It'll roll.
As my brother, who's a plus handicap golfer, he's like, "Were you going to chip this or putt this?" I'm like, well, I kind of like chipping this. He's like, a bad putt's better than a bad chip. I'm like, all right, so I'll putt it.
There you go.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have gotten that close with a chip.
Well, that's your par right there, isn't it?
Nah, it's bogey. Good putt. See?
I'll take
It's easy.
double bogey. it's great. You have a lot of dance tunes, like to be able to dance, but
Yeah.
then there was a lot of like good energy and serious moments as well. And I feel like something with my concerts is that so much of it is heavy, and I'm starting to write music that's not heavy, but learning how to transition between the heaviness and the lighterness.
Tough.
Yeah, but I thought that, I mean, you guys navigated that incredibly well.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it's like one of those weird things. Like I literally like set out to write happier, danceable songs because I would just write sad songs forever.
Yeah.
That's where my mind is. You know, I'm always like overthinking the world, overthinking people, overthinking my relationships, overthinking how little time I have with all of those things. And I get to
Same.
this point where I'm just like, okay, you need a nice, like, let's
Uplifting.
let's let people rock or dance or something, because this show is going to be
Yeah.
super depressing if you don't. All right, stay down on it.
Okay.
I don't know what I did or how I've got
Damn.
here.
I like the aggressive nature that the microphone even came off.
I know. I didn't even see where the ball went. It's because I wasn't using the magnet.
See?
Clip.
Magnets, bro. Both are in the trap. Look at this. They're going to the beach. Sand is your friend.
Really?
It's really forgiving. Just got to hit inch and a half behind the ball and at your target.
Okay. And you can't touch your ball, right? That's
Correct.
the rule. Well,
I mean,
and were your grandparents then? They also had musical history.
so yeah, it's like I'm like the fourth generation of musician in my family, which my great grandfather was a musician.
Does she actually know who Miles is?
I was going to mention it to her. I mean, she did go to the show, so at this point I would assume she has somewhat of a good idea of what he does.
Okay.
My grandfather and grandmother were both choir directors, one in Beloit, one in Rockford. But my grandfather, Ralph Nielsen, he wrote, or didn't write, but he performed, sang on over 300 albums.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, I mean, he was like a world class tenor vocalist that would get hired to go and be part of people's records all over the country.
Wow.
And he ended up graduating from the American Conservatory of Music at like 18, got his pilot's license. Which
Cool.
I don't know.
I relate. Yes.
Got his pilot's license at
I'm
16,
getting mine. Oh, that's
so
incredible.
he could fly himself to gigs. Like I'm like at 16. At 16, I was like trying to figure out like, you know, how to crimp my hair.
Yeah, maybe just give her a call.
Hey, Jason, what's up?
Hey, Irene, aren't you golfing with Miles tomorrow?
No, that's today. Actually, we're golfing right now. Hey, Miles, I have to take this call really quick. I'll be right back. No, it's going great. He's actually a great golfer. I'm really excited about the footage, and he even has some of your clubs already.
I should have mentioned this when you were here, but you do know who he is, right?
Oh. No, I just know that he's a musician in the area. Cheap Trick. Like I want you to want me? Cheap Trick? Yeah, no, didn't know that. Okay. Kind of a big deal. Yeah. Legacy. Family legacy. The idea of identity and legacy, because you have legacy in your family. What parts of your legacy did you intentionally leave behind or take with you as you were creating your own legacy?
There's a lot of depth there. So I think early on it was a lot of let's just kind of throw a lot at the wall and see what sticks kind of a thing. So the intention was pretty low. As you realize that people are interested in hearing more of what you do musically, maybe even socially, you realize that there probably should be intention because people are actually paying attention.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you realized that people were paying attention to what you were doing?
23, 24.
Okay.
I had a band with my brother called Harmony Riley, and it was really set up as just like I was working in a studio in Chicago, and it was an outlet. You know, I would come back and we would get together and we would jam in this basement at my grandparents' old house, and then actually it started. We were jamming at their old music shop that was going to be for sale. And so we just, as a release, we just started playing music.
As a kid, when kids were putting posters of rock stars on their bedroom, like mine were just posters of Jesus. Like I grew up under a rock in many ways. And so I don't actually know very much about the history of Cheap Trick or any of that. So what was the timeline of all of that happening? Where did you come into it? And what was your childhood experience?
Yeah, Cheap Trick was formed, 1974, I think was the year that they were formed. Their first record came out in 77. I was born in 75, so... Yes.
It's like right there.
Yeah, like 3 years old when they were filming and recording live at Budokan. 4.5 years old when I really realized that there was something different going on.
Okay.
Which was catching, I would say, like, as Roger Klein would say, you're catching lightning, and that becomes fame. And that becomes their record live at Budokan all of a sudden just starts blowing up. When they got off the plane in Japan, they were like, is there someone like famous? Like, is there like a president or someone of like royalty on our plane? And they're like, no, that's for you. So they had no idea because, social media wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You had no idea like the swell of what was happening.
You don't know it's going on.
You didn't know it was happening
around you, or that it's hitting the world.
Halfway across the world, there's this phenomenon that's happening with your band that you're like, oh my gosh, that's for us.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So I really didn't have a clue until, I was probably 4.5, 5 years old. And, what do you really, like, how are you taking that in, comprehending it, ingesting it, the whole thing? I don't know that I really was, but when I did know that, like, things were weird and getting famous, this is sort of like a thing that most people don't think about, but is we had like crazy people showing up to the house.
Oh, wow.
Like to do things that were
child,
like bomb threats.
Oh my
or
God.
Like this woman who, fell in love with the album Dream Police, all of a sudden started thinking it was about something else and thought my dad was Satan and would show up to the house, like fully nude in the middle of the night, like banging on the windows. And
you're a child.
Super terrified of that stuff. We had mugshots on our fridge, of people that we needed to look out for.
Be aware of if you saw them.
If you see this person coming down the driveway, you need to run in and lock the door and call the police.
Wow.
Those are things that, like, it all seems like fun and great and wonderful, but those are also things that, like, as a kid, you're like, what?
Do you think that your childhood into like middle school and high school was mostly normal? Or, your dad's touring. How often were you in school? How often were you with?
I was in school all the time.
Okay.
I would take summer vacations to go out with the band. That was what I chose to do. My older brother did not.
Okay.
That was my thing. And I guess that's when I kind of knew, like, I knew.
So that matches up with, you were saying you were 14. So you're like coming in freshman year and you're touring with your dad in the summer. And that's when it really hit you that music was what you wanted to pursue.
It was before that, but I didn't play an instrument. I didn't know that I could create. I was into the idea of being on the road.
Okay.
Like I'm saying like 5th, 6th grade, like being on tour with Cheap Trick and REO Speedwagon or Cheap Trick and Rat. Rat was one of my favorite bands at the time, I was like, and I was just hanging out with these guys every day,
Yeah.
And it was pretty incredible, And I just had this love for the road, like being on the bus, having my own bunk.
Did you ever have a rebellious phase?
Yeah, for sure. I call that fairway.
We're up there.
Yeah.
What was the extent of your rebellion?
So I got arrested at 14. I was driving a car, a buddy's car, who was 16 or 17. At the time, we had gotten like a really cheap motel in Loves Park, and they were hanging out with some girls, and they were like, you young boys, here's the keys, get out of here. Go do whatever for a couple hours. So we were like, yeah, we got the keys to the car. So he had a BMW, and he had a car phone, like a mounted car phone. And we were driving all over Rockford. Like, we drove over to this girl's house that we all sort of had like a little bit of a crush on, and I called her parents' landline and like send your daughter out. Send your daughter out now. And the dad was like, who is this? I'm going to kill you. And a whole bunch of years later, I got to tell her older brother that like we did that. And he was like, I love that story. I was like, we were just 14 and being idiots, you know, but we had this like car phone. I'm sure it was like probably cost $17 to make that prank call. But we ended up getting arrested later that night as we're pulling into Loves Park back to that motel. And I said to the cop, I was like, is there a reason? He goes, yeah, 2:30 in the morning, no shirt on, looking like you're 14, pulling into the Clayton House Motel. Yeah, there's reason. They didn't take us to jail. They just called our parents. We still got ticketed and everything. You know, still technically an arrest, but our parents all, like, my parents lived close, Jason's parents lived close, Adam's parents lived 20 minutes away. All three of our parents showed up at the same time and were just like in the car. Now. They knew. They were like, these boys were just at the Clown's Lounge in Delavan, which was an 18 and up strip club that we went to and borrowed like my cousin's ID to get in. And, you know, we were just on a roll. You know, we were just like, whatever.
14.
We were just rebellious young musicians that wanted to be sort of punk rock and like, you know, just
You had to create your own
let's just
punk
do
scene.
something that's like not good for us, you know. So we did.
Love it.
And I mean, there was more, but you know, there was more. There's probably a lot more. So,
What do you think? Or what do you know?
140.
140?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go 8 iron.
There was a lot of college things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just experimenting with substances.
I had a sin list.
Ooh. There you go.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
That's a great shot. That's how it's supposed to sound.
Yay.
So the sin list. Tell me about the sin list. What's that? Like
Oh, well, I
all
have
the things that you did wrong or that were
well, sin list, like things that I never would have fathomed doing or that I couldn't do. So like one of those is like I wasn't allowed to drink coffee growing up.
okay.
So my first sip of coffee, which was in Denver, Colorado.
So you put that on the list?
Oh yes, so the sin list was coffee, tobacco, which I brought cigars for us today. Nice. I was hoping you would participate in the sin
I would
list
love
with
to.
me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I still sin often.
Same. But it's okay.
I never
Sin with
wrote a list down because I knew that list would just be the Dead Sea Scrolls. 56-degree wedge. Can you do it?
That looks good.
That looks pretty good.
That looks great.
That looks pretty good, actually.
I don't know how
and
downhill
always,
that green is.
if you want to take care of your club, always put a little sand or seed in that. Protect your club.
We love Monteisi. Thank you, Monteisi.
Oh, there it is.
There you are.
Good shot.
Oh, wow. Very good.
Good shot.
I bet I'm in the sand.
I'd say that's a 6-footer. Those are the ones we want to show on the camera. Don't show.
Focus on Miles while I make my way to the sand.
Oh, you're in the sand?
I don't know, but I think so. Oh,
don't
no,
know.
I'm right over here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you were right left of it.
I thought I dropped in the sand, but I'm right here.
Pin high. You got to look at the positives. Pin high.
Whoa.
Which means 8 iron from 140 is your club.
Okay.
I got this cool ball marker. Haven't used it yet today, but bam, 70. Don't leave birdies short. That's the deal. Don't want to leave them short. It's going to break a little right. Can I? Not that much. Oh, this is going to cause me to hit the ball straighter. The Leona.
The Leona.
The Leona.
Ooh, the initiatory. That's where I got my name, Irene.
Yeah?
The endowment.
Well, why
Actually,
wouldn't-
technically,
you know.
the endowment is where I.
Why wouldn't you smoke the one where your
Honestly.
namesake?
Prostate cigars.
Prostate cigars. What was mine called again?
The Leona.
The Leona.
What was your self-awareness like? as a child or
Super
into your
high.
teens? Okay.
I think it's probably, my self-awareness has always been on a high level because of those things that you have to pay attention to this crazy person, but you also have to pay attention to treating these people that buy the records like they're the reason that we can go on these nice vacations, or go to this restaurant and have a nice meal. I remember my dad like snapping on this guy. We were at the Mayflower, it's a different restaurant now out in Loves Park. This guy came up, we're getting our appetizers, and it's like, this guy comes up with like 3 vinyl records, and he's like, would you? And my dad just like, man, can't you see I'm in the middle of dinner with my family? And I think, it was just like, I think he had just been inundated with like being famous.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I just want to have time with my family. And we, in the flip side of that, all turned around and yelled at my dad for being like, hey, he's the guy, he bought your records, he's the reason we can have this nice dinner, so you need to be nicer to your fans. And I mean,
Wow.
he really took to that. And I think that, like anybody that has fame, how quick does it last? Mm-hmm. How long is that longevity? For most people isn't like a Paul McCartney, isn't you're famous from your early 20s till your 80s.
Yeah.
Like Mick Jagger, these people that are just famous forever. Mm-hmm. Usually your 15 minutes is your 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think for my dad, in that situation, he was like, okay, I listen to my family. They're right. I need to be more humble.
What a powerful lesson for a child to see, because watching your dad work through fame probably had some impact on you, where you were able to look at emotions from a younger age and start regulating them earlier than what most children do.
I don't know that I've even processed some of it still.
Oh, really?
Like there's things that you like that come into your mind. I always feel like my brain sometimes from my youth is like, it's like a slideshow,
Mm-hmm.
or it's like that movie Natural Born Killers, that Oliver Stone film where it's
I haven't
like,
seen it.
like these things, these images, they like snap in and then they like snap out and they're like super intense. And then
Okay.
it's like, there's some clarity there, but it's like, I think that my journey through all of this has just been like, just different chapters of like, okay, there's the really famous early 80s, my dad. Mm-hmm. There's the lull where my parents were struggling in the mid 80s. Then, I get to 7th grade and the album Lap of Luxury, which the song The Flame comes out, that goes to number 1. So every girl, I wouldn't say every girl, but many girls in 7th and 8th grade were like, hey, I'm like this awkward, like, hey, you're cute. We should go to your dad's show, like, so it was just,
wow.
So like, all of a sudden, like I had more people that were my friend than I probably, I don't have any of those people as friends now.
Yeah. Do you think you started being more protective of your friendship? Like, were you so welcoming to it and a bit oblivious at first?
I wanted everybody to like me.
Okay, which is natural for a 7th grader in middle school. Throughout your life.
Up until I was, I don't know, 27, 28 years old. I want everybody to like me.
Of course, yeah.
What
changed that?
Realizing that you don't need everybody to like you. You only need like your little team.
Was there a moment that made you did you witness that in someone else and that made you think, oh, I want that?
No.
Or was it an internal recognition?
It wasn't internal, it was external. I sort of watched it happening like to me, around me, with just people that I was playing music with. Going through divorce and certain things that you realize like, this person's not truly my friend. They're super judgmental. They're making this about them. I don't need people like that in my life.
Yeah.
I need people like my mom. I need my mom in my life.
Yeah.
So I was living an hour from Rockford, and when I was going through divorce, I was like, you know what I need?
You need mom.
I need my mom. My mom's been there from the start. So it's like, And not that I was like moving back to my mom's house, but
Yeah.
like I needed like the support system that was like, okay, things are gonna get heavy, things are gonna get hard, you know. I'm the only one in my family that's gotten divorced, you know. My parents have been married for 55, 56 years now. I think it was 56 years this year.
Wow. It's amazing.
You know, and obviously there's tons of ups and downs and things and ins and outs of that stuff that goes on, but like, you know, to have like those sort of things and then be like, oh, yeah, Miles is getting divorced.
Kind of black sheep era.
Black sheep vibes, for
Yeah.
sure. You know,
I relate to that.
black sheep vibes.
Absolutely. And it a lot of times can make or break you, I think. So when you were coming out of that, I'm just thinking of my own experience. Like, what were the things that you were just like, I know I need to change?
Honesty.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
With yourself, with other people, or both?
all of it.
Yeah.
Just get into a zone where like, a little white lie, a little thing, a little something, you know. And then you realize you have a big thing, you know, that's in your life that's like very dishonest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people usually get divorced just because they're happy,
Yeah.
you know. So it's going through some things and, you know, and trying to navigate those things and, you know, being dishonest about just where I was with my life, where I was with people in my life, where I was with people that I loved.
When I met my now husband, he said, you say I love you to literally everyone. And he pointed out to me, no, I don't think you respect what the word love actually means. And you should think about that. And that was one of the things I started to change. My relationships with people were no longer going to be a mile wide and an inch deep. They had to have roots, and that only came from actual respect and honesty.
I just feel like in life, all of a sudden I'm almost 50. It was like, boom, okay. I was 24 like 2 days ago, I swear, running around in a van, you know, trying to play music. And then all of a sudden I'm 49 years old and I'm still running around playing music, but the intention of it is way more focused. There's way more focus to it.
Yeah.
And there's way more intent to it, but I'm still doing that. But it flies by. Like when people are like, oh, before you know it, you know, you're like, that is absolutely 1000% the truth.
Yeah.
So I don't say I love you to just anybody. Oh, that's pretty good.
Brilliant.
It's really fast. I know my tempo's terrible, but
Oh, you were supposed to count.
I know I didn't do 1 and 2. I just went 1, 2. Oh, that was thin.
It's a
Run.
draw though. It's coming back.
Run, keep running. Oh yeah.
Wow. Apparently I just need a cigar and gin.
You're putting for birdie.
Don't leave it short.
Look at that, good shot.
Wow.
Great shot.
Oh my God. That might be my best 9-iron of all time.
That was fantastic. I'm gonna try to be like Irene here. The idea here is to nestle it close so you don't have to think about your fourth shot.
Go in.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
That was tight.
That was brilliant.
I don't think I have to putt that.
No, I would call that gimme all day.
Nice leave. That's what I was looking for. I'm gonna pull the pin because it's always, you know, increases your chances of making it
If you pull the pin?
if you pull the pin
Okay.
by 80%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You've got a very makeable par.
Well,
Or give me 5. These are
I'm
all
just happy with
positives.
that 9-iron. There's so many good things to say about golf, and I judged it for so long. Like, I was a true golf hater.
Golf has sort of got this weird, like snobby sort of connotation about it.
Well,
like it's like
that was my
uppity, it's
thought
this, you
growing
know,
up,
yeah,
and
it's
that's
like,
why I judged it so harshly.
oh,
I was
you
like,
know, pinky out, you know, everybody that goes to the country club is fancy and golf is for the snooty. Man, golf is like for your brain. Like golf is for your zone, you know.
I'm glad I picked it up when I did because I had to face a lot of demons and golf helped me work through them faster. That's a difference between golf and many other things. I think in life, we always tend to remember the negative things or like, oh, it was so great, but this happened. But it's so weird because golf is almost the opposite. You will literally remember the 2 good shots you had and really forget the bad.
It's so true. It's the opposite of most things in life. I'm telling you, you're gonna talk later tonight. You'll be like, that 9-iron on 13 was money. My 2 sports are golf and basketball, which they couldn't be more opposite. For me, camaraderie when it comes to basketball is the thing. Like, if I don't do it for a few weeks, if I'm on tour and I miss going to the Y, miss going out and playing with the guys, like, it's the camaraderie that I miss.
Yeah.
Because it's every walk of life is at the YMCA. You got some guys that are, you know, chiropractors, dentists, lawyers, doctors. You got some guys that own nightclubs. You got some guys that are, you know, recently released from jail. You got everything. You know, you're like, but these are all guys like we've been doing this, and it's all comes down to the game.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, when we get out there, it doesn't really matter what you do for life. It matters how we are in sync together out here, moving the ball around. There's been times where we are way less stacked physically, but because we know how to play the game, we've won like countless games by just being better at playing a game together.
Okay, next question. A huge thing that I always talk about and that's throughout my music videos is this red door, where the red door represents a choice to change. And then after you walk through that red door, you have to be brave enough to learn and face what's on the other side. So I always ask people, what's a red door moment in your life where it was this terrifying decision or something that you knew you needed to learn and change? And what red door did you walk through?
Probably quite a few of them.
Pick one.
Definitely one in particular was the red door of accepting that I needed to go be in a band that tours. And it was scary to be like, I'm going to quit my job in Chicago. I'm just going to go all in and I'm going. You know, there's societal pressures, there's parental pressures, there's things that, you know, this is the next step in your life. You need to do this. You need to do this. And if you listen to those things your whole life, you'll constantly be living for someone else. So I chose to live for myself. And I was like, it's my deal. I'm going to go get in the van. I'm going to go make music. I'm going to go tour and figure it all out. And here we are. That's a red door. Another red door is probably accepting failure in my first marriage. Could have stayed in it, you know, but that's all right. You know, not sure that would have worked out the way that it needed to, or, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that was a scary one. Again, being the first one in my family to be divorced, you know, there's sort of that black sheep sort of connotation, that stigma that goes with you. And also, like, you know, not wanting to hurt, like, I say this a lot, but like, my intention was not to hurt I hate the word ex-wife. I hate that term, but it's my child's mother. You know, I hate the term ex-wife, but I didn't want to hurt that anyone. You realize, like, in certain things, there's just going to be collateral damage or just direct damage. That's not even collateral. It's, you know, completely direct damage as a result. That was a door that I needed to go through, and the door now has been opened for 10 years.
Well, thank you for sharing your red door moment. I would like to gift you some red door coffee.
That's awesome.
This is new. It's not even on the market yet. This is the first public gifting.
Who does this?
Me. That's my brand.
This is you?
Yeah, that's my brand. Red Door Coffee.
Yes.
Brand new.
This is going to go down tomorrow morning.
So you got some potential energy here, some decaf. There's kinetic energy, espresso, and then you got a light, medium, dark roast.
Wow.
Coffee was one of those first things that I was not allowed to participate in growing up. And
one sip did change my life.
Exactly. Sometimes it's not huge decisions that change our lives. Sometimes it's small things that give us the courage to walk through a door. And for me, a sip of coffee was that. So Red Door Coffee, it's now yours.
I love it. I don't know what the hell this means, but I found this golf ball the other day. God is hiding me
From Rick.
He thinks it's funny. Well, my dad's name is Rick. I don't know. Super weird. Bam.
Yes!
Crushed.
You know, I think I need to smoke more cigars.
I'd say the combo of gin and cigars is probably good. That's
I
probably
guess.
both on your sin list.
Thanks, Apostate Cigars. But more importantly, thank you, Sub70, for this driver. You see the way that driver worked? Incredible.
I did. Fairway. And see, this was not even intentional but I do have the Sub70 3-wood, which I do love. I had it for about a year and a half now.
You own a music venue, correct?
I do.
It's called the Music Box.
The Music Box.
What
Yes.
was the decision behind starting that? What was that process like?
Well, Rockford's music scene needs some more help. And I feel like in opening the Music Box, great shot. So my grandparents had a store called the Music Box Gift Shop, and we wanted to make sure that we kind of honored them in what we were doing, and because they were sort of the first people to come to Rockford. They were the pioneers to come to Rockford. So yeah, it's a 175 cap listening room, and it's right downtown Rockford. It's at 218 State in Rockford, Illinois. It's called the Music Box, and we're bringing in talent from all over the country.
Beautiful.
And it's have been open a year on May 16th.
Because it's more of like a listening room, listening lounge type thing.
Yes.
I love that. There's not enough of that as a singer-songwriter.
Well, and you should play there.
Perhaps I will one day. Pick that up on another episode.
See this little guy right here?
Yes,
That's kind of where you want to...
that's my line.
Yep. I like that.
Hey, that line was just like you said it was.
That looks pretty good. Go.
Still a gimme.
Remember when I said don't leave birdie putts short? And that's what you do.
All right, I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, pressure's on.
Best after show food.
Pizza.
Most memorable show.
Cheap Trick, Coronado Theater, opening band. We were the opening band. They were in a snowstorm, stuck in traffic. We played for an extra 90 minutes as the opening band. Horrible.
Aliens, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Last golf course you played on the road.
Camelback Golf Club, Scottsdale, Arizona.
Someone you were starstruck by.
The most starstruck that I've ever been was Elaine Irwin, who was John Mellencamp's wife. I went to a show and she was there, and there was a little portal window in a door, and I was walking through and she was walking through at the same time, and our faces met, and she looked like she was painted. She was so beautiful that it was like it was a painting.
That's awesome.
I was like,
Collaboration you want to happen but hasn't happened yet.
I'd like to collaborate with Bon Iver.
Oh, good one.
I don't know. I think our musical stylings are similar but different enough that I think it would really work in a good way.
I would agree with that. Favorite lyric you're currently spinning or playing with but hasn't been put in a song yet?
You took all the bullets for me is a line that I'm starting a new song with, and I just that's going to turn into something.
Wonderful rapid fire. Good job.
Now we're into the wind.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where you want it.
That's golf.
It's a bad golf swing with a good result.
It's out there.
Not our finest work yet. Oh, golf with Irene is good.
It is good. My last question for the last hole here is something that we have co-jointly developed and talk about all the time is navigating with a compass of self-belief. Self-belief is the center. You have to believe in yourself. And north is self-awareness. You must be self-aware or you're going to get off track with north. But the other thing, and this is my question, is when you declinate a compass, do you know what that? I had no idea until he taught me. So true magnetic north is not actual north.
Sure. I do know that.
So you have to declinate a compass.
And that's kind of
calibrating it,
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise you can have self-awareness But if you take off in the wrong direction by a couple degrees, you're going to be way off track.
Yeah.
And so he came up with the idea that declinating your compass is ego, is putting your ego in check so that when you take that first step, you're not going to end up way wide of where you meant to go. So I imagine that over the years from your childhood and watching fame affect your family or other people around you, what were lessons that you learned, or how do you now declinate your ego and your compass? What's your method of regulation?
Well, to have very low ego, very little ego when it comes to what I'm doing is, you know, people are like, well, you have to have an ego. I was like, well, of course, everyone has an ego. There's a lot of people that try to do music. There's a lot of people that do music and they do it so effortlessly and so well. And I guess music's the part of it, but I just try to stay humble knowing that like I'm super lucky, that I have people that even care to have me put out music. I think it's like the golden rule is the big thing that I think a lot of times in today's world is just lost, you know, like treat others how you want to be treated. And sometimes you forget that. I mean, like my best friend for 20 years is gone. You know, it can be taken from you like that, you know? So all of these things, you know, I found love. My children love me. I have all these things to be thankful for. So just staying grounded on those things, I think is sort of a good way to keep my compass pointed in the right direction. 1 and 2. Or get through it.
On our last hole, if you could give advice to any young musicians or people that are pursuing their dreams, what advice would you give?
Just work hard. I mean, there's no substitute for working hard. Also, there's always going to be someone telling you no. Don't listen. If that's what you feel like you can do, if that's your passion, if that's your drive, if you have the drive, just work hard. It's going to pay off in some fashion. Because things that I thought like, why am I doing this menial task? And then like a year later, like you're like, oh, I know how to do that because of just put in the work.
Because you did it.
Because you can do every job. Even if it's cleaning toilets. I had a dream I cleaned toilets last night. That's how bad it's gotten. But
oh no.
you just...
Hey, you do a good job though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just work hard. I think there's...
Toilets were spotless.
Yeah, no substitute to working hard.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that piece of advice.
Absolutely. Thank you for the day of golf. Got me out of power washing the deck. Truthfully. Oh!
I think this is mine and that's
Oh,
yours.
that's you. Okay. Okay.
Oh, it'll go. I'll be in that bunker just
Should be short of it. All right. So this one, because it's uphill, I want to try to throw it all the way, almost all the way to the hole.
Okay. And it did that. Oh! Stop!
Downhill breaker. It's going to go left to right. I'm going to throw a mark on it. Let Irene go first. As golf etiquette has it, she is out. Like, see that spot that I'm pointing at?
Yeah.
Try to hit it about here.
Short.
I like it. Come down now. That thing just sat. That thing really stopped. Well, will he make par, folks? Probably not, because he hasn't made a putt all day. Nope, too
Close.
low, too low. Boom.
Miles, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure playing
Pleasure.
with you. Thank you, Sub 70.
Good to see the silver fox.
Beautiful course, beautiful round, beautiful company.
Might as well, man. Seems like the play.
Driver off the deck.
Driver off the
DOD god right here. This guy's the DOD god for sure. Look at that hay bale.
Oh, yeah.
Bam! Ooh, heard that rip through.
Yeah,
That was probably pulled left, huh?
definitely pulled left.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a clear shot, though, over the left hay bale.